Checking, making sure the frame is pretty good. I am stretching just a little bit to get a good amount of stuff in the frame, but let's go ahead and get started. It's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? Here we are on the Samsung Galaxy S22. Now, it has been a little bit. The S22 lineup is all out now. Pre-orders are done, so now they are in stores and they are ready for you to actually purchase. So if you are interested in any of these phones, remember that I do have links in the description down below, and by using those links, you're actually helping out my channel, so thank you for that. Yeah, I did not forget about the smaller of the Galaxy S22 lineup, and honestly, this smallest base model version might be the one that most of you want. The Galaxy S22 Ultra is indeed one of the most full-featured phones ever, even when you don't count the S Pen. By the way, don't forget to check out the Galaxy S22 Ultra real-world camera test that I did if you haven't seen it already, and subscribe to my channel so you know when more videos like that come out. But if you do know that you don't need all of those capabilities, and you know that you don't need to be spending all of that money, well, the Galaxy S22 is the way to get many of the same experiences in a smaller, more accessible package. And really, sometimes it's just refreshing to come back to something like the Galaxy S22 that is smaller and easier to handle on the daily. It looks pretty much like last year's Galaxy S21, including a similar camera bump, but whereas last year's cameras seemed to blend into the frame, this time there is a defined separation between the two. You can see it here, it's actually got like this really defined line right there separating the frame from the camera bump, but honestly, it still works as a design aspect. And there are other colors this year, like this pink edition that I have, and that Isa definitely enjoyed. You can check out her video as well. But also, the phone is just a little bit thicker than last year. You can really feel it in these wider sides, which you would think would help with the grip and the handling, but actually I still find the phone slips about just a bit too much for comfort. Beefier as this phone might be, it's still just a little too smooth everywhere for its own good. That's the reason why I went for this butter yellow case. This is an official Samsung case that makes an obvious reference to BTS, but even if it's supposed to be smooth like butter, I feel like it adds all of the grip that I feel is missing in the phone without a case on. The Galaxy S22 has pretty much all of the same core specifications, mainly the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Personally, I haven't had any trouble getting any of my gaming or general app work done with the high refresh rate screen keeping things looking nice and snappy. Really, as a main phone, I keep coming back to the same one-word description: cozy. This phone is super cozy. The smaller size coupled with still high-end performance means that it's easy to just fixate on using it for anything and everything. A recent lack of sleep on my part can actually be attributed to hours of playing the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster, or just scrolling through TikTok, or really just watching YouTube videos in bed. And when on the go, easy one-handed usage for anything important just makes life feel a little bit less cumbersome. Of course, in my case, that's with the right case involved. Anyway, this is a real-world camera test, so after I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience in general with the phone, I might elaborate more on it in further content later. Let's go ahead and talk about the cameras for this video. Yes, these cameras. Samsung didn't leave the S22 with nothing to work with compared to the Ultra. If you were to compare the spec sheets, it's pretty easy to see what Samsung deems Ultra material. The first thing to notice is that the main camera here is a 50 megapixel shooter compared to the 108 megapixel camera of the Ultra. You can still get full resolution captures using this sensor by hitting the appropriate setting in the camera app. That high resolution capture also supports Samsung's adaptive pixel feature, so you still get a taste of that particular enhancement. The ultra-wide camera is 12 megapixels, and then you just get one telephoto at 10 megapixels. Across the board, the hardware supports a lot of the high-end capabilities that most people might crave. The main camera is the one that can get all the way up to 8K video recording, but every single camera, including the front shooter, can do 4K. As usual, starting things off on the front-facing camera, just here in my front yard / garden and whatnot. Always a great place to start off because there's a lot of really nice plants around here. But again, starting on the front-facing camera because as per usual, I want to see if this phone is good for general vlogging and whatnot. Kind of a gloomy day. It might actually rain today, but this cloud cover does allow us to have a lot of diffused lighting, which helps with photography. You might think that a full sunny day is what you want, and there are some ideal situations for that, but for the most part, a little bit of cloud cover actually really helps just even out all of the different shots that you might get. Just using the zoom right now. We're at a stoplight, by the way, but I just want to show this off real quick.
What?
Can I zoom in all the way? 10 times, there we go. People just leave in the receipts. No one wants to remember how much they've been paying for gas. That is the sad reality right now. And as you can see, stabilization seems pretty good across the board, even on the front shooter, even if the focal length is just a little too tight for my taste. So as I mentioned earlier, there's just one telephoto lens on here, and it sets the default zoom mode to 3x, after which you'll start getting diminishing returns on your zooms. That's different from having like the dedicated shorter telephoto for things like portraits, and then getting the dedicated far throw 10 times zoom. Ooh. Yeah. Rainy day, gloomy day calls for comfort food. The telephoto does come with autofocus and a decent short minimum focusing distance, which actually helps you get closer to the details on subjects. That's a decent enough alternative to the fact that the ultra-wide does not have autofocus, which means that it doesn't bring the macro capability to the Galaxy S22, which on the Ultra is actually called the focus enhancer. There's still plenty of fun to be had on the Galaxy S22 though, with certain modes and filters available. Portrait video mode on the front, still fun that you are able to do this kind of stuff, but it is 1080p resolution, although again, it's fun. This is the glitch, color point, big circle, so I guess very artificial bokeh, and then just regular blur. I can even intensify the blur a little bit, but let's just go back to glitch. It is a gloomy day out, kind of cold, which is why we decided to just be here, have some beers, have some food under the heat lamps. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. It's always easy to assume that the base models of various smartphone lineups get the least amount of love, but while the Galaxy S22 Ultra is redefining what the Samsung flagship might mean because of the inclusion of the S Pen, I think there's still plenty to love with the smaller Galaxy S22. Because there are a ton of things you can do with this phone, even if the hardware is relatively dialed back compared to the S22 Ultra. You still have the Pro Video mode, and I'm using that right now with the ultra-wide camera. Also, in this mode, it actually says ultra-wide wide telephoto. But I'm also using a Bluetooth earbud. Yeah, the audio you're hearing right now is coming from the Sony Link Buds. Look forward to my review on that by subscribing to my channel. Also, let me know if you have any questions regarding these earbuds. But yeah, this is what you're hearing. The mics from the earbud. I have one of them in right now. But that's where you're hearing the audio, because I'm using this as the mic here on the S22, a feature you don't really see too often on many Android smartphones. How cool is this place right here? Oh, right away, a Mega Man. Gotta love it. Classic stuff here. Gotta love it. Street Fighter Alpha 3. X-Men Children of the Atom. I still have that. This game right here, right there, I have that for PC. Back in the days when you would have to launch things via DOS. Make it seem like you're the one. Here's something I actually didn't highlight from the Galaxy S22 Ultra. This is the director's view mode, and again, you still have a lot of the same features in the S22 that you get in the Ultra. So you can have a lot of fun with the various capabilities of the S22, even if the hardware and some of the more advanced things are not necessarily there. But here on the director's view, just like on the S22 Ultra, there's this bit of an upgrade where you can actually record separate videos of the rear and the front while you're doing this whole thing at the same exact time. So you get 1080p video using the director's view the way that it is right now, but you also get the separate video files so that you can use them and cut between them and all of that. So that's pretty cool that you can actually do multicam recording while doing the actual split view here in director's view. You see, I tend to approach these rear-world camera tests with the question of whether or not I would use this phone as a backup camera when I don't want to carry my bigger ones, or if I would actually use this as just a general vlogging machine, let's say if my channel was actually a daily vlogging channel. Especially with that latter point in mind, I think it's important to really highlight when a phone like this is easily accessible, both because of its price and also because of its size, and yet it brings all the right capabilities to the table. I think the Galaxy S22 actually fulfills that criteria. The quality is pretty great across the board. board, even if, like with pretty much any smartphone, low-light video shooting is a less ideal scenario. And all of that available in a package that is easier on the pocket and a little less demanding of the wallet, as long as you know you don't need the extra bits that the higher-end models might have gotten. And so, there you have it, the Galaxy S22 in this rear-world camera test. Honestly, not too many surprises here, because Samsung has done well to continue their current formulas. This phone might look a lot like last year's models, but they also bring a lot of what last year's models succeeded in. And really, a phone at this size is always a nice prospect when it performs this well. For more on the Galaxy S22 lineup, including the Galaxy S22 Ultra that I already did a rear-world camera test with, subscribe to my channel. Sound off by hitting the like button and getting into the comments down below. From there, though, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.